about 5 minutes after game one.
I have to send a message. If I'm not sending a message, then who's sending that message?
Draymond Green, he's going to wreak havoc.
He embraces being the villain, and without him, we're not the Warriors.
You got to be about what you talk about. And I take pride in that.
Here's Jalen Rose. I am David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do?
Get the people!
Jalen Rose, Draymond Green had his impact all over Game 2 and brought the Warriors the win. And Ime Udoka, head coach of the Celtics, talked about how they may respond.
Let's say be who you are. And if you want to ignore. If you engage. Do what you do. Be who you are. And the main thing is to continue to stay composed. And with us, I don't think it's the talking as much, as the physicality that they brought. That was noticeable. And at times, talking about the first Milwaukee game where the adjustments Miami made were to try to be more physical. And so we know, obviously, that's what Green does. And it tries to kind of bleed over into the team. But for us, it's to be who you are. I told him if I was a player or who I was, I'd probably get a double technical immediately. But that's not everybody. And so do what you do and block it out or meet physicality with physicality.
If I was a player, I would probably get a double technical immediately. That's what the head coach of the Celtics said. How do you expect the Celtics to respond to Draymond's antics?
I wanna get physical. I wanna get physical. It's the NBA Finals. And for those that have not been fortunate enough to play on this stage, every role for each teammate matters. And if you put Draymond Green's stats up on the screen other than his assists, they're not eye-popping. He had more altercations than he had field goals. This is his job for the Golden State Warriors, to be an irritant, to be an enforcer in a modern-day game where you can't play as physical. That's what Ime is talking about. Ime didn't say, I would flagrant foul Draymond Green. He didn't say lose your discipline. He said, I would probably get a technical foul. What did that mean? That means you gotta match his intensity. That's what that means. And if he's the aggressor, his team usually wins. Now, that's gonna be the adjustment for the Celtics. But let me tell you the main adjustment that's gonna happen. The refs ain't gonna allow it this game. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been telling you since the beginning of time, and they hate when I say this. Officials officiate situations, players, time, and score. They do. Their first quarter calls and fourth quarter calls.
Yep.
Is it a block? Is it a charge? Is it a travel? I saw a defense of 3 seconds a series ago. So one of those things could have easily gotten Draymond a tech, B a double tech, and obviously C ejected from the game. But they know what you and I know. If you take Draymond Green out of the game, at the end of the game, whoever wins, now we're going to be talking about the refs.
Yep.
Not talking about the players. But in this game, it's already out there.
He's got a tech already.
What is it?
They're going to give him a tech getting off the bus.
Getting off the bus already.
They're giving him a tech getting off the bus. He's going to have a tech before the game even starts. He's going to have a tech at the jump ball. I guarantee you Draymond Green gets a technical foul in this game just for time served in the last game.
Absolutely. Him getting a tech for time served is the equivalent of making sure I got a crisp cut in my twisty right tonight.
Can we address the bonnet?
Hair day.
Can we address the bonnet, Auntie Jalen?
It's a bad hair day. You know what I'm saying? I have real hair. You know what I mean? People that have hair know what this is. You know what's up. I'll make sure I make some more stylish ones. But you know what ends up happening? Jacoby, you know when I do it, it gets copied. When I wear a tie pin, when I wear a hoodie under a blazer, it's going to get copied. And so again, but in all honesty, about Draymond Green, I agree with you, family. He will have one technical getting off the bus for time served, but he did what he needed to do. That was the must-win game earlier in this series. They couldn't lose 2 games at home and then go to Boston in the NBA Finals and win a championship. Why? Because a team down 0-2 after losing both teams at home in the finals has never won the championship. So he was playing desperate.
Well, it was interesting to hear Ime say, be who you are. If you want to ignore it, ignore it. If you don't, embrace it and engage. And that tells me that at least someone wearing green is going to embrace it and engage. It seemed to me that Ime was sort of enticing his team even to engage with Draymond Green. Do you think that's the case?
Yes, but let me tell you what a veteran in the NBA Finals does, and put those altercations back up there and play them if you can. The one that he's having with Jalen Green, Marcus Smart is going to behave different tonight. Because when Draymond Green was in an altercation with Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart went and held back Draymond Green? Watch this. Watch this, dog. This was going to change tonight. See, that's what's going to change tonight. It's not going to be hold Draymond Green back tonight. It's going to be I'm in an altercation with him just like Jaylen Brown is. And the physicality of the game is something I appreciate because that's been taken away from the game so much. And so, again, for how physical you can be in today's game, Draymond Green serves as an enforcer for the Golden State Warriors.
Jalen, we talk so much about Draymond, we talk so much about Steph, and we talk so much about Jordan Poole, but one person that we don't talk that much about, which has had a huge impact on this Warriors postseason, is Andrew Wiggins, and Steve Kerr talked about him.
Wiggs has shown since we've had him the last couple of years that he can be an excellent defender. He's got great size, length, athleticism, and I think over the last couple of years he's just gotten more and more attentive. He's just gotten more on edge and ready for what's coming next. I think part of it is just playing with Draymond and Steph and Clay and you know, playing with guys who've been around championship basketball and them really imploring him to be that guy for us because we desperately needed that. So, you know, when Wiggs recognized that was the role that was needed, you know, he really locked in and got better and better.
Jalen, do you expect Andrew Wiggins to sort of break out offensively? He has impacted the series defensively, but do you expect him to get some buckets in Game 3?
If the Golden State Warriors are going to win the championship, you're going to have different games where people not a splash brother have 20 points. And so in the previous game, Jordan Poole was trending in that direction. And you're going to need Wiggins to also do that at some point in this series. But I want to address what Steve Kerr also said. I talk to you all of the time about players being in the league because of their skill or their will. And we just talked about Draymond Green and Ime Udoka talking basically the same conversation. If this is what you do, then you show your will against a Draymond Green. Well, a Wiggins got drafted #1 overall. And when you get drafted #1 overall, it ain't because of your will. It's because of your skill. So when he first came into the league, it was about scoring 20 points. That's what he was there to do. So now all of a sudden, you start in the All-Star game for the first time in your career as a member of the Golden State Warriors while the team is dealing with injury throughout the season with the Splash Brothers, with Draymond Green, and you earn a spot based on the voters, in particular overseas. He has some young people, some young groups that really boosted, you know, his voting status. But either way, he started in the All-Star game. But since then, he struggled. He struggled from the free throw line. He struggled shooting from 3. And now he's able to ease himself back into a role, in particular started to break out against the Dallas Mavs, playing against Luka, scoring offensively, but the world had a perception that he was locking down Luka, even though Luka averaged like 50% shooting on him and averaged like 40 in that series. You know what I'm saying? And so now you carry that defensive intensity over to Jason Tatum, who they're alike in size. Wiggins is just as good of an athlete, just as rangy, and so he's up for the challenge. And I'm liking that matchup, but they will, to your question, need him to have a breakout game scoring if they're going to win the championship.
Clay or Wiggins is going to have a big scoring game in one of these games and going to win the Warriors a game at some point in this series. Jalen, another one of the big stories, especially from Game 2, were the turnovers of the Celtics. 15 steals for the Warriors, 33 points off of turnovers for the Warriors. How can the Celtics address this problem in Game 3?
All turnovers ain't created equal. And it's one thing when you dribble it off your foot or throw it in the stands. But two things happen when a team gets a steal. Number one, when I take the ball from you, I feel a sense of dominance. Take that, give me that. Think about when you steal the ball from somebody, what you say? Give me that, right? It's almost like when you block somebody's shot, what do you say? Get that out of here, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing, you see that open floor? You see that open floor? Lights out, baby. You get steals. You now get a chance to play against a defense in retreat, and you have the greatest shooter, three-point wise, that the league has seen in Steph Curry, along with a guy like Clay that now gives them opportunities to get open threes in transition, but also gives the Warriors those layups that continue to hit you like jabs. And so you gotta take care of the ball if you're the Boston Celtics. Be strong with the ball. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown off the dribble against the Miami Heat struggled with their turnovers. You got to be stronger with the ball. You got to be more decisive with the ball. And I think the referees also are going to play a factor in how physical the game, as I mentioned earlier, is as well.
Jalen, who is joining us after this very short break?
Not only one of the greatest people to grace this earth, but the only human being to win Player of the Year and Coach of the Year twice in collegiate basketball, Naismith style. Dawn Staley is joining the program.
Jalen and Jacoby.
Coming to you live above the Heineken River Deck, Pier 17 in New York City. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby, Jalen Rose. We have the honor, the privilege of being joined by one of the most decorated athletes of all time. Forget basketball, forget men or women. One of the most decorated athletes and coaches of all time, Dawn Staley, is joining us on Jalen and Jacoby.
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
You're
really
doing well.
appreciate
Thank
you
you
taking
for
the
joining
time.
us.
Thank you so much for joining us. The last image I have in my brain of you is the confetti coming down, taking the national championship, your second one as a coach for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Take us into that moment.
I was actually instantly tired. Like, I felt myself coming down. Like, as a player, you play in these big games, and it usually takes you a couple of hours for you to actually, your body to come down. I felt it, like, as soon as the horn sounded. I'm like, what just happened? Like, I'm tired. Like, but super cool. Like, honestly, to beat UConn, because you have to go through the standard. And the first time we won in 2017, we didn't play them. So, and everybody was like, that's not a legit championship. But this year, I just thought the tables were set in a way for us to be super successful, and our players walked into that, and they weren't going to be denied.
Thank you for joining us, Coach. And like Jalen and Jacoby, you've been a terrific advocate for Brittany Griner and how she's been wrongfully detained for so very long in Russia. Can you just acknowledge your feelings about her situation?
Yeah, I mean, I wear my pen every single day. I post every single day, just trying to bring awareness to it, just trying to get people to empathize with what's happening, regardless of what you feel about her, regardless of, whatever she wronged you or whatever. I mean, she's an American, she's a sister, she's a daughter, she's a wife. We got to get more and more people locked into this, joining hands and all hands on deck to get her home.
When you're coaching, you always look good.
She fancy.
We saw you in the Louis during the tournament. You always got the fashion going, and people talking about it. What is your thought process in terms of getting your drip right before you coach?
you know, I don't understand these people. People put the price tag on it like that. They were about it. It was out there before I could even check my phone. But I'm in a good place. Like I used to wear suits and heels and all of that, and that was so very uncomfortable. When the pandemic hit and everybody was going to a more relaxed look, that's how I like to look every day. Like I wear sweats on the sidelines and I feel really good about it. And now, you know, you can wear a varsity jacket and still look professional out in the court.
As I saw Becky Hammon ascend as a coach, I couldn't help but think about you. Would you consider coaching in the WNBA or the NBA?
I mean, I've been asked that question. Like, there isn't like an ounce of me that has the desire to go to the next level. I think my passion is for young people, and I guess that both leagues are getting younger and younger and younger. But my passion is to make sure that our league is in a good place. Like the WNBA needs great young people to keep it going. If that itch comes to coach on the next level, I'm getting older, so if it hasn't come yet, I don't think it's going to come.
Well, you seem to have done it all. 2-time Naismith Player of the Year, 2-time Naismith Coach of the Year,
the only
6-time WNBA All-Star. But I want to talk to you about some other
4
accolades.
gold medals.
3-time gold medal winner as a player, 1-time gold medal winner as a coach. What was that experience like putting on that USA uniform and coaching Team USA?
And I got 2 as an assistant coach, so I got 6.
Oh,
Hey!
My
Take
mistake.
that.
I'm so sorry, Coach.
No, I mean when you no matter what happens in our country, like we got the freedom to speak about things, we got amendments to abide by, but when you wear the red, white, and blue, when you represent the United States in international play, there is something special about it. Like it truly is. I try to capture that feeling of one team, one goal, gold or bust. That is the mentality that I take in the coaching because it's not duplicated. I know you can win an NBA championship, you can win a WNBA championship, you can win a national championship, but the things that we have to deal with through that particular journey of that season, you don't with USA Basketball. It's just, we don't look at the stat sheet. We just, hey, we got a job to do. Let's do it. Let's go get this gold medal. I've never been on a team that I got that warm and fuzzy feeling that I do with representing the United States.
That's incredible. And you grew up in Philly. Unfortunately, your Sixers aren't in the NBA Finals, but it's tied 1-1. Golden State Warriors and Boston Celtics. What do you see happening for the rest of this series?
You know, I think Boston's going to win it. I do. There's something like there's something divine about it. They kind of look like the rest of the NBA. The Golden State Warriors are just head and shoulders above everybody else with the way they play basketball. That it doesn't look like it's ever attainable to anybody else to play that way. And the Boston Celtics, they're grinders. They look like us. They blue collar. They're grinders. So it's cool to see the two dynamics. But I just got a feeling that Boston's gonna win.
Every time the Sixers job opens, people talk about Jay Wright. I have to ask you, would you consider coaching the Sixers?
Hey, I was just up in Philly at the Roost picnic, and everybody in Philly always says, "We want you as the coach. We want." I mean, I got a heart, and my skin isn't as thick as the coaches that have to coach in Philly, because it's super hard. And while I got the mic, MB, Joel Embiid for MVP. I don't know how they got it wrong.
Appreciate the love, Coach. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.